there. I was just reading the story of Joshua in the Battle of Jericho. Do you want to hear it too? You do? Well, before we go into that, we have to take a look into the story of Moses. You remember the story of Moses? The story where Pharaoh's daughter pulled him out of the water? You do? Well, he was the one that God chose to free the Israelite slaves. When they got to the Red Sea, the Egyptians wanted them back. So Pharaoh sent his whole army after them. And when the Israelites saw the army, they complained to Moses. So Moses parted the Red Sea with his staff, and the Israelites went across. When they reached the other side of the Red Sea, God closed up the Red Sea on the Pharaoh's army. After a year and a half, they were ready to enter the Promised Land. Then the Lord spoke to Moses. He said, "This is the land I promised with an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I told them, I will give this land to your children and their children. Moses, I have let you see it with your own eyes, but you will not go across the Jordan River to enter it." Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in Moab, just as the Lord had said. The Lord buried the body of Moses in Moab. His grave is in the valley across from Beth Peor. But to this day, no one knows where it is. Moses was 120 years old when he died. But his eyes were not weak. He was still very strong. The people of Israel sobbed over Moses on the flatlands of Moab for 30 days. They did it until their time for sobbing and crying was over. Joshua, the son of Nun, was filled with the wisdom. That's because Moses had placed his hands on him. So the Israelites listened to Joshua. They did what the Lord had commanded Moses. Since then, Israel has never had a prophet like Moses. The Lord knew him face to face. Moses did many miraculous signs and wonders. The Lord had sent him to do them in Egypt. Moses did them against Pharaoh, against all of his officials, and against his whole land. No one has ever had the mighty power Moses had. No one has ever done the wonderful acts he did in the sight of the people in Israel. The Lord spoke to Joshua.
"Be strong and brave. You will lead these people, and they will take the land as their very own. It is the land I promised with an oath to give their people long ago. Be strong and very brave. Make sure you obey the whole law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn away from it to the right or to the left. You will have success everywhere you go. Never stop reading this scroll of the law. Day and night, you must think about what it says. Make sure you do everything that is written in it. Then things will go well with you, and you will have great success. Here is what I am commanding you to do. Be strong and brave. Do not be terrified. Do not lose hope. I am the Lord your God. I will be with you everywhere you go."
Joshua, the son of Nun, sent 2 spies from Shittim. He sent them in secret. He said to them,
"Go, look the land over. Most of all, check out Jericho."
the house of Rahab, prostitute. Hi, I'm Rahab. The king of Jericho was told.
Look, some people have come to Israel. They've came here tonight. They've come to check out the land.
So the king sent a message to Rahab.
Bring out the men who come into your house. They've come to check out the whole land.
But the woman had hidden the two men. She said, "It's true that the men came here, but I didn't know where they had come from. They left at sunset when it was time to close the city gate. I don't know which way they went. Go after them quickly. You might catch up with them." But in fact, she had hidden them under some flax she had piled up. Rahab went up on the roof before the spies settled down for the night. She said to them, "I know that the Lord has given this land to you. We are very much afraid of you. Everyone who lives in this country is weak with fear because of you. We've heard how the Lord dried up the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and we've heard what you did to Sihon and Og, the two Amorite kings. They ruled east of the Jordan River. You completely destroyed them. And when we heard about it, our hearts melted away in fear. Because of you, we aren't brave anymore. The Lord your God is the God who rules over heaven and earth below. Now then, please take an oath. Promise me in the name of the Lord that you will be kind to my family. I've been kind to you. Promise me that you will spare the lives of my father and mother, spare my brothers and sisters, and also spare everyone in their families. Promise that you won't put any of us to death." So the men made a promise to her.
"We'll give up our lives to save yours," they said. "But don't tell anyone what we're doing. Then we'll be kind and faithful to you when the Lord gives us this land."
The house Rahab lived in was part of the city wall, so she let the spies down by a rope through the window. She said to them, "Go up into the hills. The men who are chasing you won't be able to find you. Hide yourselves there for 3 days until they return. Then you can go on your way." The men said to her,
"You made us take an oath and make a promise, but we won't keep it unless you do what we say. When we enter the land, you must tie this bright red rope in the window. Tie it in the window to let us down through. Bring your father and mother into your house. Also bring your brothers and everyone else in your family into your house. None of you must go out into the street. If you do, anything that happens to you will be your own fault. Don't hold us accountable. But if anyone hurts someone who is inside the house with you, it will be our fault, and you can hold us accountable. Don't tell anybody what we're doing. If you do, we won't have to keep the promise you asked us to make."
"I agree," Rahab replied. "I'll do as you say." So she sent them away, and they left. Then she tied the bright red rope in the window. That's hard work for a silly red rope.
People took their tents down. They prepared to go across the Jordan River. The priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant went ahead of them. The water of the Jordan was going over its banks. It always does that at the time the crops are being gathered. The priests came to the river. Their feet touched the water edge. Right away, the water that was coming down the river stopped flowing. It piled up far away at a town called Adam near Jericho. The water that was flowing down to the Dead Sea was completely cut off. So the people went across the Jordan River opposite Jericho. The priests carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord. They stood firm on dry ground in the middle of the river. They stayed there until the whole nation of Israel had gone across on dry ground. After that, God had Joshua have the Israelite young men circumcised. The place where they were circumcised was Gilgal.